Hey there, this is Paula Glory, and this show is called Farther Down the Rabbit Hole because we go into topics more deeply, and I just want to introduce another Dean Clifford special of discontinuance, saying that Chase paid this whopping amount, and we feel certainly the legal fees are highly, highly excessive, and they say pursuant to the lease that I signed, and I have to get a copy of my wet ink signature because what I have from the bank is just a modified one, saying that I'm responsible for these legal fees. So what I want to do is tell you to pay careful attention to Dean Clifford, and we're going to see the ongoing drama here in New York City. But in Canada, they're shutting down entire municipalities because the obstruction of due process and equal protection is so outrageously blocked that people are starting to rise up. So there you go. Pay attention to Dean Clifford. And oh yeah, that's right. Today we did go to the bank, and the bank's all in a tizzy. They have no idea who this Katie Smith is, how the bill was paid, and what is expected of us as a result of that. Anything I should add, Joe?
No. To actually do what it's intended to do, which was to uphold and protect our sovereignty. And
exactly, and to preserve the peace, because now that's a biggie, preserving the peace, because now if nobody in the government is doing their job, they've violated your human rights, they're refusing to give you remedy, and they've left no other option but violence. That's a breach of peace. That's when you contact the military if there's going to be a breach of peace, because no avenue has been left to you but basically armed insurrection, or fine, I'm just going to get a gun and I'm going to go take my own property back. Right? The military's charged with preserving the peace, so now they have to get involved.
Yes, people need to look into the Treaty of Exodus. The Treaty of Exodus is actually where the original duties of the Provost Marshal came from. When you read the Treaty of Exodus, you understand how a Provost Marshal became to be, and what duties was prescribed and what it was intended for. But you're gonna have to go to like a law library because that shit's fucking old. It was actually, you know what? It was actually made in 1776. U.S. coined that term, and the British Empire, the British monarchy actually adopted it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Empire,
I don't even know. I sure haven't read that one yet.
Well, it's hard to find. You have to go to an old law library. The one that I saw was like the book was fucking falling apart. Like it's like a 32-page document, and it's like in fucking shambles. Like you have to actually be very careful when you try to scan it. I didn't scan it. Well, I did a long time ago, but I lost it because I had to go through a format. I forgot to back it up. But if you can find that again and you scan it, shit, that's some fucking scary shit.
No, it's interesting, but that's more to do with remedy, because I know people were asking about how do you actually enforce some of this stuff, or when they just completely ignore you and they screw you over in the courts and everything else, where do you go? So yeah, you better believe there is somebody to go, but you don't go there until you have no other avenue left. Because to be honest with you, if some idiot contacted me, if I was the Provost Marshal, bitching and complaining about a bunch of stuff that I haven't even tried to seek remedy for, I'd probably have you arrested and thrown in the friggin' clink myself. So
something to think about.
Honor. Gotta act honorably. Mm-hmm. Exhaust your administrative remedies. And people have to get used to that word, administrator. Right? We talk about that. Executor, director, administrator. Same thing. The administrator is a good word. I like that one. Because the administrator is the one who administrates and seeks administrative remedies and study up on administrative law in Canada. There's 3 branches of law in Canada, and administrative law is the biggest and the most important one.
The Administrative Act of 1940-something.
Well, there you go, and I haven't even read that one.
Well, it explains exactly what administrators are, what some of their duties are. And the best part is administrators includes public officials, including as in the conventional term, not fucking law bullshit. And it also talks about or mentions that once an administrator has been assigned, it must achieve remedy or seek remedy immediately on the spot. So that's why if you assign someone as trustee and you instruct them to administrate this account, they have to do it right on the spot.
Yeah, and that's what the ministers here in Manitoba have not been doing. I appointed the finance minister here as the fiduciary trustee, sent him in a bunch of remittances, and they did nothing. And they got very specific instructions on what to do, and they've just ignored everything, absolutely everything.
Default them, bring them to court. That shit still doesn't go through. You might want to start looking at the provost marshal or ask it what he can recommend.
Yeah, I sent them an actual notice last week telling them they had 7 more days to restore this estate and to pay the damages that are outstanding, or I'm coming after them. And today's the last day, so Monday I start my big barrage against the government, the big one. So,
big barrage?
The big barrage, yep, that I've been gearing up for more than 2 years.
Fantastic. Now I have another question here. What about filing a declaration of sovereign rights held by Indigenous power?
See, I've heard that twice now. I still don't know what it is.
Me neither.
I'm not even sure. I mean, yeah, sure, you can declare whatever you want. Declarations aren't hard, and send it off, but you got to make sure that whatever you're sending somebody is relevant. So whatever it says in that document, just make sure it's relevant to whatever purpose you're hoping to achieve.
Okay, and what about becoming a secured party creditor?
You are a secured party creditor.
Yeah, but in order to establish that in court, it's very long and very complicated once you get into the details. Because what they do is they just remove you as a secured party creditor and assign the court as one. But you try to reclaim that back, you have to know exactly what the fuck you're doing. And you have to know exactly why they couldn't do that in the first place. But you have to be careful. People have to keep in mind, you can't sue the court of Ottawa or the court of Toronto or whatever, or the Supreme Court. You can't sue them because they have sovereign immunity. And the way that they got sovereign immunity is the Foreign Agencies Act. Something tells me it's the Foreign Agencies Act. But in the Foreign Agencies Act, it is described as it is a protected corporation or protected organization. And when you go further into details when defining that, you eventually come to the conclusion, or I did, is that they have sovereign immunity, meaning they cannot be sued. So if you want to sue someone that's in the court, you sue them personally.
Or the province.
Or the province. And the province will instruct them saying, hey, stop doing this shit.
Yep. Yeah, that's my big thing is I don't care who harms you. You got to remember that if an organization exists inside the individual province, it's there with the permission of the province, which means the province is assuming liability for everything.
Exactly.
Anybody has harmed you, I don't care who it is. Even Canada Revenue Agency, if they've harmed you inside your province, you sue the province. Because they are operating with the province's permission, which means the province is assuming liability for everything CRA does. And I'm fine with that, because I can go after the province, that's local.
Yes. That's why they have a crown prosecutor or a crown attorney in every municipal. And if they don't have a municipal, because your township is too small, then they direct you to somewhere that's within 30 minutes most of the time.
Yep.
Like, for example, Cottam or Essex, they don't have a crown prosecutor. You're going to have to go to Windsor, and that's a 20-minute drive.
Yep.
It's not that they don't want to, it's just that they do not have the proper funds to help fund it, and they're too small of a municipal to take care of that, so they direct people to go to Windsor.
Yep. See, and like every organization that operates within the province of Manitoba that's performing a function of government in some way has to have a license to do so. They have to be licensed by the province. Everything has to. I mean, look at the Law Society and lawyers. They all have to be licensed to practice in Manitoba. Everything has to be licensed to do something inside Manitoba. CRA, they don't have a license to be collecting income taxes inside the provinces. They've got something called a Memorandum of Agreement. Yeah. That's not a law. That means they're actually acting unlawfully within the provinces, but the province is assuming liability.
Yes.
Completely.
Because one of the benefits that the province utilizes CRA is to collect on unpaid debts.
Yeah, I see they're doing that in Saskatchewan now. They're using CRA to collect on fucking traffic tickets now?
Yeah.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
There should be a number of lawsuits over that immediately.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you right there, though, CRA is just nothing more than a private collection agency, though.
They
If
are.
they're collecting traffic tickets now, then they're private.
Yeah, but the thing is, the second that you mention the all-caps name, CRA is involved because CRA created joiner with the social insurance number to that name.
Yeah.
So what they did is when they issued a social insurance number, they attached that to the actual name and they bonded it.
And they did that of their own accord. They didn't do that without any authorization from you. So as far as I'm concerned, you could make the argument if you go to court that CRA was meddling in your estate. They were trying to administrate your estate for you by bonding your social insurance number to your legal person.
Exactly.
You didn't authorize that, so they're meddling in an estate.
That's one of the reasons why a Crown Land Patent Grant is so powerful, because it excludes in all of their jurisdictions, and it operates inside of Canada, the real Canada, meaning it's on land. It is the actual land. That's why it's called the Crown Land Patent Grant.
Yeah.
And don't confuse grant as in like them giving you permission. Grant is you're granting them access to issue a registered title to that to let public officers know what the fuck is up. So you are granting them jurisdiction to register that on their records to let their officers know that you are the rightful heir of that estate. That's why they give, or that's why they are called the grant. That's one of the reasons. People need to distinguish that. Lawyers like to flip a lot of things around.
Well, that's their job.
Yeah, that's one of the jobs, yeah.
Their job is to, as another friend of mine coined the phrase, the entire point of the Law Society is to pervert the course of justice, to obscure and to flip things around and to make you believe anything.
Well, you know what, Dean? Ask a lawyer this. Ask any lawyer this. Who do you serve first? Your client or the court? All of them will say the court.
Of course.
Had a conflict of interest?
That's I just was talking about that last night with somebody actually, because they fired their lawyer, I guess, and the lawyer's trying to collect on $5,000 that they never earned. And I said, well, just send them an affidavit saying that
I was not made aware that you were serving the court before me.
Exactly. Thank you. That's actually an even more precise way of saying what I said. It was more elongated. I said it's my understanding that you have a superseding oath to the Law Society that supersedes your oath to me, and you didn't disclose that when we contracted together, which basically voids the contract ab initio. I'm not paying you.
Yeah, and if you want to go back and correct all the things that the lawyers did, which most of the time they don't do fucking shit, they just argue like a fucking baby inside.
Yeah, they do nothing.
Yeah, if you want to reverse any of their processes, you put in a revocation of power of attorney, and you serve that on notice, and you let the court know that any and all proceedings, actions, or motions, or anything that was done in delinquo, I can't remember exactly what that stands for, but it pretty much means that in anything that was entrusted to my representative is hereby revoked, null, and canceled due to negligence, not negligence, but due to the conflict of interest, and there's another word I used, I can't remember, but fucking you get the point. You just go up and say, hey, I was not made aware that this guy was serving your interests, not mine, or before mine. So I'm rescinding any and all action. And if they got a problem with that, you take it up in fucking written notice.
You're revoking you're revoking everything that guy did. I'm revoking all of it.
Because it was made under the actions of fraud. And anything under fraud is rendered null and void in the court of law.
And that's also a breach of trust as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, very big. And to even add on to it, what you should do is you threaten them saying, hey, if you proceed with this, I will see to it that your bar license is revoked for these actions.
Yep.
And
I haven't done much with going after the bar licenses yet, but I would like to.
Because you know what? You get them where it hurts. You get them where the money's coming from. If you rob them of their job, they will smarten the fuck up. Or if you threaten them, because you know what? The way I see it is, if you take everything that a man has, man's got nothing to lose. That's when he becomes dangerous. But you threaten them, saying, "Hey, I will take this shit away from you if you persist. So I'm ceasing and desisting you from these actions and from my affairs." Once they have been served cease and desist, they cannot proceed any further. If they do, then you can go after them for harassment and a whole bunch of fucking other shit. And also, you can take that and bring it to the bar license or to the bar association and saying, "Hey, look at what this guy is doing. He is malicing and he is intentionally causing harm to me. He is a breach." And if they don't do shit, then you bring the whole fucking bar license into court and saying, "Hey, these motherfuckers still didn't fire this son of a bitch."
Yep.
Then you put the whole bitch fucking right on the fucking court. And if
because it is a public license to practice. So
exactly. And if they're in public breach or a breach of public affairs, then that's where shit gets pretty nasty. Because you know what? I would honestly love to bring the whole bar association against those claims, because I know for a fact that they will not be able to do shit. And if you bring that to Supreme Court with the proper documentation, you have a chance to actually kick out all of the exclusion of crowns.
What I think is interesting about this is if you go back 10 years, nobody was doing anything like this at all. And this is why government got so bad, because they just started getting away with anything. So they got worse and worse. The lawyers were getting worse and worse because nobody ever came back and did anything at all. The biggest thing we can do here in the next couple of months or half a year is to have a couple of hundred people around Canada that are educated enough to be able to go and file complaints with the Law Society and start going after lawyers' licenses to practice, and start going after the police and the government filing lawsuits. And even just that little bit would be enough to make them go, "Oh shit."
No, you don't even have to fucking bring them to civil court. Just sending them a complaint or notify saying, if you don't rectify this situation, the Bar Association will be brought.
Yeah,
all you gotta do is put that, this is shit, we don't want to fucking deal with this.
Yeah, that's called restoring the estate. I want you to restore the estate that you have damaged. Because if they don't, they've refused to provide remedy now, and that's a very serious crime.
Yes.
Okay, there was a small pause. Can I ask a question, or did you want to finish something?
Good.
We're done.
Okay, thanks. I love it. Okay, I have a friend here that says I need to chat with you guys. I have an issue upcoming, but I have no clue how to proceed. It's involving my child and the government wanting to contract with me to provide support to them rather than directly with my child. They are sending me papers requesting financial info. How do I proceed is my issue. Not sure if I provide my info to them, but I refuse to enter contract with them, or question mark. How does he proceed with this?
He's probably doing with the CAS, right? Children's Services and shit, or some bullshit like that.
Well, if it's not CAS, if it's not FACS, like Family and Children's Services, then it would maybe be just the government trying to get money for support. And I don't know if that's Family and Children's Services or if that's actually Canadian Revenue Agency. I think that would have something to do with that.
No, I dealt with this one for my brother actually out in Alberta, and normally it's always like CFS or Child Family Services or All Nations Coordinated Family Child Services Network, which is what it is in Manitoba. Either way, when you get something from the court, like an order to appear or this and that, the whole 9 yards, all you have to do is file up, swear out an affidavit that you have not seen any information or be presented with any facts. You're under any obligation to contract with the courts regarding a private dispute.
Exactly.
And then send a motion to dismiss the case, and go and file that in the court record, and it will go away. And it did, very, very fucking quick.
Okay, now this isn't trying to get anybody to shirk parental responsibilities. It's just to not have to deal with it in a governmental means, but to deal with it
administratively, privately, on your own, come to your own terms, and get the government out of your life. In fact, if somebody has not even bothered to contact you at all in advance, and their first action was just to go to court and sue you, okay, that's tax fraud. And you can put that in your filing because they haven't even attempted to contact you and settle this dispute before taking it to a publicly funded court. That is tax fraud. And you should let all parties know that. Say, I'm not participating in tax fraud because this person has never even attempted to settle this dispute with me or raise the fact that there even is a dispute. So once they've administrated all once they've exhausted their administrative remedies, then we'll go to court. But until they contact me and try to settle this matter peacefully first, I'm not going to be a party to tax fraud. You don't have my consent. Go away. That should be in a letter filed in the court, and that's very. I think everybody can understand the premise there.
Okay, now I hope that answers the question. No, go ahead, Derek.
People need to understand that, when you're taking shit into your own hands, it's not hard. People I need to stress this because it is not hard to go and file a criminal complaint. It is not hard to send in a demand for discovery. It is not hard to put in a motion to dismiss. Okay? It is not hard. You know how long it took for me to file for the criminal complaint? It took me 20 minutes. Now how long it took me to do for the demand for the discovery? It took me 10 minutes. You want to know how long it took me to craft up something like a motion to strike? It took me 5 minutes. Less than 1 hour, you could be on your way from a nice paycheck.
Yep. Or 2 episodes of Friends.
Yeah, 2 episodes of frickin' crap TV. But a part of this question, he's letting us know that the ex is on disability and that they're going after him out of province.
Okay. So there's a complete lack of jurisdiction. I don't know what her being on disability has to do with anything.
I think he's just questioning.
Yeah.
If it does have anything to do with anything.
No, not at all. Just you don't allow the court's jurisdiction until the person's even tried to handle things in a peaceful manner first. Peaceful being privately, party to party. There's no reason to involve a court until a reasonable man can be shown that attempts at settling the dispute privately have failed. So don't grant the court's jurisdiction. I do not give you jurisdiction in this matter. It's tax fraud to try to force me to do it because this person hasn't even attempted to bring a dispute to me, never mind me refuse settlement. This is the first time I'm just assuming maybe it's probably the first contact, I don't know, but with everybody, court's usually the first action being taken. And that raises another point to do with summary convictions and criminal charges, right? Because everything's commerce anyways. Why is it that the Crown, their first act is to get you into court to make a plea instead of trying to settle any alleged dispute outside of the court? So we've shut court like that down before just by raising that issue. If there's a dispute, why didn't you bring this to my attention before filing in court? That's tax fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
They don't want to talk about that because now they will finding themselves in dishonor. And if they bring that before the court, they would have to actually acknowledge that and have to actually make a try to actually honor or rectify that situation. So that's why they're hoping that you won't bring that up. If you bring that up, then they have to acknowledge it if you do it in the proper venues.
Yep.
But if you ignore it, they get to railroad you over.
Exactly, because in every single presumption, every single claim that they're making, every single presumption they're operating on stands when you don't rebut any of the presumptions. The only way you can rebut them is to make, and that's why I raised, and that's why I developed that most simple argument you could ever possibly make. Are you claiming I was performing a function of government at the time of the complaint?
Mm-hmm.
Because that destroys everything. And the only thing you ever can claim is that you weren't performing a function of government at the time of the complaint. Now it's up to them to prove you were, and they cannot. It's done at that point. So,
yep.
Okay, just a reminder, it is 2:22 on the 12th of August, 2011. You're listening to freethinkradio.com. This is Lifting the Veil with Carrie Lee, and again, I'm live with Dean Clifford and Derek Hill, talking all things sovereignty. I would like to take it back a bit. We'd like to mention that there's a motion to shoot the prosecution in the face. I didn't say it, I'm just reading it. And I would like to go back for the people that haven't heard, and for some of the people that, again, there might be a couple things missing in the restream that I want to make sure get covered. And once again, that was the Officer Awareness Bulletin for Freemen on the Land that was put out August 3rd, 2011. That states that members of the Freemen of the Land, I'll just read the beginning part because it's a brief description. Members of the Freemen of the Land can present risk to officer safety. Officers are urged to exercise caution in dealing with known or suspected members of the Freemen of the Land. The FOTL is a libertarian and anti-government movement whose members believe they are sovereign. How dare they?
It sounds like we're Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan or something.
It really does.
Hey, you know what? That's cool, man, because you know what? They still haven't shown proof that Al-Qaeda did what they did.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. Precisely. Sorry.
It goes on to say they also believe that they have the right to use force, including deadly force, in defense of their land, property, and family. And my response to that is, yes, you come to my house and you bring that kind of pain my way, I do have the right to use excessive force in defense of my land, my property, and my family.
That's a fundamental human right.
Code.
Pardon?
It says so in the criminal code, section 35 or 36 states if the land is held under a claim of right, whoever is on that land can defend it at any force necessary.
Yep.
And as Derek said,
you know what?
Sorry.
I got the fucking law behind me.
Now, as Dean said earlier, what this notice is profiling at its best. Do you want to get into that a little bit more and recover that?
Well, it is profiling. As soon as you basically start to profile an identifiable group, that's profiling. It's no different than, say, putting out a bulletin about be cautious of all black people out on the streets of Toronto today because black people have been known to be more aggressive than white people, right? So they pass these laws saying, no, the police can't do that anymore. That's profiling. That's completely against the law. So now they come up with this thing saying that they're calling us now FOTLs. So they've given us a name. So now we're an identifiable group. So if you ask me, I think the Human Rights Commission is going to be getting a complaint on Monday morning from me because now this is willful promotion of hatred against an identifiable group. This is actually a hate crime now.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, because they're going to spread this around and Canadians are going to go, oh, did you hear about them freemen?
Well, actually, I don't think they're going to be throwing this around because this is actually a restricted document that's supposed to be only for the RCMP.
Oh, this is true, but I mean, okay, so we're throwing it around.
Yeah, and I don't give a shit. Someone sent it to me. It's been online. What it tells me is that there's people in the law enforcement community that are on our side.
Yeah, they don't like what the fuck's going on.
For some reason, all this stuff is being made public, and it's being made public by somebody. And I think people within the law enforcement community know that we're nonviolent, we preach do no harm, we preach being honorable, we preach obeying the law, we preach being good people, and now we're just being literally politically assassinated by the RCMP, who's supposed to be an organization protecting law-abiding people.
You know what I say to that?
Exactly, and I'd like to say... Go ahead.
You know what I say to that? I say, you know what? Fantastic. Okay? Sure. You know what? You can fucking just tell me whatever it is, okay? Or you can say, yeah, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Show me proof that that's not the case. Show me proof that that's not the law. Show me proof that I can't do those.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. I would like to see an affidavit from the commissioner of the RCMP, a sworn affidavit under oath of him saying that we don't have the right to use deadly force in defense of my family if somebody breaks into my home.
Exactly.
You swear that on the record, you fucking asshole, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. I'd also like to say to all those cops out there, and yeah, you know, we don't really think highly of you, and that's fine and whatever, but the ones that are seeing what's going on, and that are trying to expose some things and are kind of on our side trying to get it out there, from the bottom of my fucking heart, thank you.
Yes. Well,
because you're making the right choice, you're doing the right thing, and you're standing up for the people you're supposed to be fucking protecting in the first place.
They have to understand... Oh, sorry, someone's going to speak there.
Yeah, I wanted to ask
Eric from Everything's Okay, which is next at 3.
Yeah, what's up, Dean? I love the show, actually, what you're talking about. It's very good. We're talking about RCMP messing around. If you go back not long ago, I don't know if you ever heard about that Pro-Funk. P-R-O-F-U-N-C. Canadians were jailed just for having a political opinion. Some were gunned down. The bill was supposedly removed by the ex-prime at the beginning of the 80s. After almost 30,000 people got jailed, but bill never gets removed. It just gets rebuilt. Do you have any guess if it's rebuilded or it's still in place? Because I was told yes.
They rename things and they move them and then they bury them to be brought back out later in different lingo, right?
All right. In a case like that, they come at your door, telling you you're enemy of the state because you're a democracy terrorist. What do you do in a case like that? That's big.
I tell them to fuck off. I don't give a shit who the fuck you are. Does that work for you? Does that work for you? Am I under your jurisdiction? You see me getting paid? You see me fucking going on duty? Like, get the fuck out of my face.
And enemy of the state's a big one. Like, that's basically, like, what are they doing? Are they declaring war on you at this point? Like, I don't even understand where they could even come up with a charge like that. Like, define enemy of the state.
We are having a radio show. We're having an opinion. We're talking about stuff that they don't like. You're talking against the establishment, you're against war, you're against the bank, and we're not saying we're against in a bad way. It's just we get points that shows that it's bad what they're doing. And between 50s and 80s, they jailed 30,000 people without trials. They just send them in concentration camp in Canada.
Yeah.
It's still in place. It's still in place. It's still in place. I can give you a lot of links. I spoke about it yesterday on the show.
Yeah, please do. That's interesting.
And even the CSIS was saying that in municipality government, provincial government, and the whole federal government were infiltrated by outside government.
Good.
So the thing is, how can we defend with all what you're bringing with the activist side of it? Because here in Montreal,
what I would say,
you make sure you got backup.
But Montreal,
you got like a whole bunch of group of friends outside and you get arrested without trial, you do what Dean did. You know, you march in, you say, I am filing this habeas corpus. I am offended.
There you go.
Okay,
you make sure you got friends on the outside, right? Like,
people with power of attorney for you, people that are going to file writs of habeas corpus for people that are in jail, other human beings that are going to stand up for other human beings.
Yeah, that's a good thing too. But because in Montreal they decided to criminalize activists now, they built a unit that's called Gamma that comes out of the anti-gang squad from the Montreal Police Department that arrested Hells Angels, Rock Machine, and the Mafia. Now activists are at the same level as Mafia and Hells Angels in Montreal, and you know what I'm talking about.
Of course, and here's the problem, because now that they've got this basically major crimes unit that's got nothing left to do because they've gotten rid of most of the major crimes, according to them, they need something. They're not going to just disband it. They just need a new enemy now.
Yeah, it's just like the fucking war on terror. The same shit, you know. We can't fight against the Russians now. We got to come up with a new enemy so we can keep pumping up on our military.
There you go. Instead of getting rid of our military that we're not using right now, how about we just find 3 new enemies?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So that means everything you're talking about, we can use that for the same reason as activists.
Absolutely. Now, the only thing I will caution you on is I do know that in Quebec, you guys do run under Napoleonic law.
Yes, I know it's the worst place.
Which is different from the rest of Canada. That means you guys only have the rights you've been afforded by government. It's the opposite. It's the exact mirror image of Anglo-Saxon common law.
You're right, because of what I heard, it's the only place in the world where it's the hardest place to use what you're talking about. It is, because now here's the other difference, though, is that here's your argument against that. If Quebec joined Confederation, which I know a lot of people in Quebec don't like to, that's what they're fighting, saying, no, we didn't join Confederation, right? If they are technically part of Canada, Canada did sign the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which supersedes, allegedly, any basis of Napoleonic law in Quebec.
So that would be the argument you would use, is you would carry around a copy of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and say Canada's a signatory to this. So if you're violating this, then you're breaking the law.
Okay, technically I can go overrule the Quebec laws with the federal laws just to protect myself.
With the UN laws, of course, because Canada signed on to the UN and basically voided Canadian law by doing that.
Okay, cool.
Which is all their laws anyways, but now you let them know you're breaking your laws by violating my human rights, because even Canada is a signatory of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which recognizes human rights. I'm a man. I have human rights. And this is the law you guys are supposed to be upholding right now. So that would supersede Napoleonic law, Quebec law, whatever you want. So a lot of the stuff that we don't like, we can use to our advantage.
Hey, you know what? You don't even need to go that far. You know what? You got human rights. Quebec's got human rights, because you know why? Because Quebec is a part of Paris, the Treaty of Paris, 1763. State that Quebec is, in fact, still under the rule of the French king. And the French king is part of the French government. And the French government is a signatory of the Declaration of Human Rights. So if you got an issue with that, you bring that instead of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms for filing, or you can do both or whatever. But for Quebec, all you gotta do is put in, instead of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, you put in the Treaty of Paris and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. You file those two in the record, let's see how fast they drop the case.
The Treaty of Paris, huh?
Yeah, Treaty of Paris, 1763.
Yeah, and actually, France has another document that goes back to the 1700s called just the Declaration of Human Rights was drafted by a Frenchman back in the 1700s. It's not the UN Declaration of Human Rights. It's known as the French Declaration of Human Rights or something like that. It's another document altogether. You can bring that up too. There's all sorts of stuff you can look up if you research online a little bit.
Yeah, I did a bit on Wikipedia. They were talking about different signature that was done actually by a different type of government in Canada. And they were talking about the Treaty of Paris and all those names. I just wanted to make sure that which one we can use in Quebec, because actually Adam, the other guy on my show, is totally into your videos, so now he's trying to learn that way. But I just wanted to make sure that I'm bringing him the other information so he doesn't run into the wrong door.
Send your Attorney General for your province. Send him a copy of the Treaty of Paris, United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Send them all a copy of that with a cover letter that says, "Do you not honor and respect these documents?"
Okay, cool.
If they do, then they can't fuck with your human rights. If they don't, then they're violating the law. They're kind of in a tough spot once you contact them and put the burden on them to say yes or no.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Exactly. Thanks, man.
No problem, dude. So there, I hope that answers somebody's questions.
No, that's fantastic. You guys have been doing an absolutely great job. I mean, I love having you on because you're answering questions that we all have, and for those that are new that are listening to the show are realizing, hopefully, that they don't have to put up with a lot of what we've been sold. We don't have to eat what they're serving us. We have our own rights, and it's time that we take our power back.
Yes, I
which is the reason why I'm doing these shows, because this is what I want for myself, and I can't want something for myself and not share it with other people, because then if something happens to somebody else and I knew that something that could have helped them, then I'm responsible as much as the next person for harming them, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep, I covered that all actually in episode 6, I think, that got uploaded finally. We talk about the fact that your true power is actually in your purchasing power, your ability to spend your money where you want to spend it, right? That's ultimately what it comes down to, is we don't have to give these assholes our money, we don't have to shop at Safeway, we don't have to be doing all this nonsense that we're doing and buying the GMO food, but we're all doing it. We're actually the ones that are asking for all this cheap food. So they're just producing what we've asked for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then you get all these guys that are going to protest the G20, and on their way to the G20 protest, they're stopping at Starbucks for a latte. Like, are you kidding me?
Nah, I personally think Starbucks overcharges on fucking everything.
It's crap. It's not good coffee at all.
The coffee isn't even good. It's fucking garbage.
Neither is Tim Hortons. Everybody goes to Tim Hortons, and I'm sorry, but Tim Hortons is disgusting, and it rots my stomach.
It's the worst thing I've ever drank in my life.
Hey,
I get fair trade,
man.
I get fair trade coffee. That's what I get. And we love our fair trade coffee.
I have to say it again, man. I got injured and they kicked me out of the job for not paying me, man. And actually, Tim Horton, it's because of them. I was not arrested last year in Toronto. I was in a Tim Horton and the cops came in. They said, stay in there. All right, I'm not cutting anymore.
That's awesome.
No, you say whatever you want. Eric and the other hosts here are always welcome to jump in at any time if they have any questions. I have no set rules on my show.
That's too funny. Okay, well, I'll let you take the lead from here.
Well, is there anything else that you guys would like to add? Because honestly, I kind of wanted to give this to the two of you to do what we wanted with it, kind of. And I'm going to do something maybe a little sneaky here and say that I'm trying to talk Dean into maybe doing a show once a week. And as you all see, he's very good at it. So hopefully he'll put that into his hat and think about it a bit more.
Well, I'm just
sitting in the back doing nothing,
Derek, you're fantastic. I'm sorry. No, you know what, Derek? It's funny because every sovereign that I've talked to, and I've been talking to more and more and more since I did the first interview with Dean, and I have to give him props because he opened me up to a whole new world of the sovereignty that I wasn't aware of, and then I was introduced to Derek because of it, and then after being introduced to Derek, I was introduced to somebody else, and somebody else, and somebody else. So now it's like my show is turned into lifting the veil and the sovereign movement. Because I mean, honestly, I have just been doing this show as kind of like winging it and whatever comes to me. And the sovereign thing is just coming to me like crazy now, so that I can't ignore it at all whatsoever. And I have that need to constantly see what's down the rabbit hole next in the sovereign sphere, we'll say. Well, so I mean, thank you both of you for coming on the show. Derek has given me some absolutely fantastic ideas about gaining property for next to no money, completely legitimately, that have had other people looking at me like I have three heads, and I just can't wait till I go and do it myself, and then laugh at everybody that looked at me like I had three heads.
Yeah, but you know what? It's just like what I said on the other night there. You know what? Let them get pissed off. Let them fucking get mad. You know what? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. You want to bitch at me? Fine. I'm the one sitting in the house not paying property taxes, having all this shit for free, doing what I was meant to be, and while you're over there fucking slaving off to the whole world and not doing a fucking damn thing about it.
Exactly.
So as far as I'm concerned, I think I'll be in a better position to do that.
No, definitely, and you're showing an example. And I mean, for myself, okay, my family comes first. I love my kids. They drive me crazy. I love them to bits, though. They're 5 and 10, and I stay at home to do the best by them. But then I see my husband working his bag off to provide for us. And if we don't have, he puts it all on himself. Even if I'm doing something on the side, whether it's a little bit of catering or something else, I mean, it's just not necessarily enough. If I can do all the legwork in this with the help of people like yourself, Derek and Dean, and then be able to say, this could be the greatest gift I could ever give my husband. Here, this is the work I did, and this is what I'm giving you. You can stop working now. And you can, in the capacity that you are, and now you have the time to turn around and find a job that's really going to work for you, to do work that you love, to do it contracting on your own. That's what I want to be able to give to him. Because we're working hand in hand for sure, But I mean, in this capacity, in the society that we're stuck in right now, it's killing him. I see it. It's not good for the family. If I can give him a little bit more, if we can work on this together, that's what I want to do. And I want to see other families be able to take advantage of that as well.
Yeah,
I want to see other people doing this. Now, I have a friend in the chat who's saying that they have a question. So, I'm going to wait until they type it, I think, maybe. But again, like I said, I would really like to see more people taking advantages of this and realizing that no, in fact, you're not slaves. That you don't have to live this kind of life the way that you are. and that there are ways around it. And yeah, it's going to take a little bit of work, but it's going to be worth it, because what are you doing now? Sitting and watching TV, filling your stomach with bonbons, going to work, paying taxes, going shopping, all of these things, supporting all of the corruption that's keeping you down in the first place, and then sitting there throwing your hands up in the air and saying, fuck, I hate the government, but I'm only one person and I can't do anything. Well, all of this shows that most definitely, it doesn't matter if you're one person, you can definitely do something. Because Dean's just one person. Derek's just one person. Now I have a question. It says, what is the story with the fee schedules? After the fee clock is started, why are there no stories of sovereigns being paid what's due?
I got paid on the spot. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Now you're talking about the traffic ticket, yes?
Yeah. Well, not the traffic ticket, but the one I was arrested for 2 hours. I got paid with a personal check, $500, and I cashed it a few minutes later, and I had to cash.
Right. Yeah, Derek, that's an extreme circumstance. You actually, the sheriff, is that what it was, or the chief of police? He felt that he had civilly harmed you, and he was a man of honor, and he felt that he was obligated to amend his dishonor, and he did it. That has nothing to do with contract or civil law.
Yes, it is. Because when he's obligated, that's a contract. Obligation is a contract. Doesn't matter how you look at it.
Well, he is acting under the situation or the guise of the public trust, and he was aware of your position, and instead of him waiting to be litigated civilly after the fact, he just figured he'd make an agreement with you at the beginning. And you did. You both went into a contractual agreement. He made you an offer and you accepted it. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what are you talking about? It is administrative.
I never said anything about administrative. I just said
that would have been me, and I just missed that.
Obligated. That is right there. And also to add on, if they most of the time they won't pay you, but most of the time if they don't pay you, then you just put in an affidavit of truth. Get them to rebut it. If they can't rebut it, that's sovereign and truth. You bring that to any court. Court says, hey, there's a binding contract. You didn't dispute it. I can't do anything. So you either have to award judgment. I've seen it happen.
Yep.
I've seen it happen. I did it for one of my friends. He was jailed for a night. He went. He asked my help to help take care of some of this stuff. You know what I did? I filed in a couple of documents. I filed in an affidavit to him personally, and I said, you got 14 days to rebut this. If you can't rebut this, you accept these terms. And the affidavit just consisted pretty much saying, when I performed this, I notified you $50,000. Did you agree? Yes. Did you proceed? Yes. Right there. That's a contract.
That establishes the contract, yes.
Exactly. And once you got that, and he didn't distribute it or put in quote unquote other facts, then there you go. That is a contract. There is no adversary. There's no controversy. If there's no controversy, no adversary, then there's an agreement between the parties. If there's an agreement to the parties, then there has to be an exchange of obligations. Since you exchanged your obligation already, he has to exchange his obligation to
remedy the situation.
And if they still fail to pay you, then you bring that judgment, and you send a certified copy to the risk management saying, here is a judgment against this officer. You have 30 days to pay. If you don't pay within 30 days, then I will liquidate assets equal to that value. There you go.
Okay, I have a question. Someone's asking, I want to A4V my car payment. Best source for doing this correctly.
Oh boy. People have to understand.
You have to wait till you get a statement.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to let Derek take that one for a sec, I guess, then.
Okay.
giving you the lead with. Okay, an A for V can't work on on payments. Okay, A for V is not exactly works the way that people like it to work.
Yeah.
So let's say you get like if you get a demand for rent, right? You can't A for V your landlady or your landlord. You can't A for V for the initial contract stating, saying, hey, we need a deposit, right? If you go for a car and you expect to pick up a car with an A for V, good luck, because you ain't gonna go anywhere. Now, you can go and drop off the $3,000 or whatever, doing conventional lease or semi-conventional lease. Then yeah, you drop off $3,000, get the car, then they send you or as soon as you go home, you request them to send you a statement for the full amount owing.
There you go, a buyout.
Exactly. You buy that contract out with an A for V. And when you do the A for V, you gotta make sure you know where to send it off. A lot of people don't know what the fuck they are doing. Very few people knows how to take care of an A for V. And chances are they're not speaking publicly. That's why I never told anyone about how to do the A for V. When I send people my documents, it's a before and after picture. I don't show what the A for V is, because that's a private remedy. When people start doing it, they might fuck it up, and then they have to fucking cause more trouble for me. I got a good thing going.
Yeah, the A for V, if you read the Bill of Exchange Act, you realize real quick that even writing accepted for value is irrelevant. You can just write accepted on a document. But even then, if you read the Bill of Exchange Act, it'll tell you that even just your signature alone is evidence of acceptance of the document.
Exactly.
So the AFE thing doesn't really do anything more than what your signature does. There's other things at work there that if you're not doing the process properly, it's not going to work for you. And I'm not even going to get into the process of what all that is. Maybe we can cover that in another show sometime or something. But it has to come down to, and there's a reason they call that administrative remedy. And the only person that can settle the accounts is the administrator. So that's why I cannot express enough to people why they have to learn administrative law and learn how to be administrators of their estates, because only the administrator can do these things.
Okay, now one last question, I think. New listener, long-time debt payer. I have a massive student loan, and they've been in collections for 2 years, and me paying $500 a month in interest. I listened to the show the other day, and Derek mentioned you need an A for V, once again. Now, I also listened to Menard on the 3 letters to write, and you guys said you were saying that it was bunk. Just wondering how I go about with this A for V, what steps I have to take. I've paid $15,000 interest on a $60,000 loan, one with Ontario government, Royal Bank, and federal government. How would I go about abolishing all 3 with this A for V? Goes on to say, you guys are amazing, and thank you.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'll let the master of getting rid of student loans answer that one.
Yes, please, Derek.
So I sent the scan 0003. That's my student loan being taken care of, $6,000 right on the spot. Amount doesn't really matter at all. Okay. Now you can do the A for V at any time you want. You just gotta know who needs it and what kind of process is there. You can't expect to send the A for V to like the receiver general, because you haven't assigned a duty to them, or you have to assign a mandate to them that is within their jurisdictional powers. And if you don't know how to do that, then fuck, you're not going to go anywhere. So you need to read how administrative processes work. If you haven't read that, and you don't understand how administrative processes work and administrative remedies work, then shit, you are not going to go anywhere. Because you think the CRA is just going to look at this A for V and take care of it? No. They're going to test you. They're going to say, hey, we don't know what the fuck this is. Can you explain to me how this works?
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of people are going to say, well, fuck, I don't know how to explain it. I guess I'm fucked.
I was just told to write this and it would work.
Yeah. So
if you read the Bill of Exchange Act and you could quote some of the stuff from the Bill of Exchange Act, they'd know, oh, shit, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, or put in something. Put it in something. Just don't ignore it. If you ignore it, then bam, you just accept it and agree to a new contract.
Yep.
You gotta know. You have to have a certain mentality to take care of this. But for example, if you send an A for B on a student loan or whatever, and then they send you a new statement, and you don't do anything with that, bam, you just fucked yourself over. Now you got A for B that too. See, the way I do it, and this is generally applicable to almost pretty much everything, is you send an A for B, or you send in your administrative remedy, okay? You could be any administrative remedy that you claim that you have enough knowledge for. I'm not saying, people, whatever. Anyways, I'm moving on. So would you send in your administrative remedy, okay? And you send it to the appropriate office, and they come back saying, hey, we don't know what you're talking about, right? And they send you back a new statement, and you do nothing with it. You just accepted a new contract. So what you gotta do is you gotta do A for B the first time. If they send you another one, you send it back with another A for B. Okay, I'm using A for B just an example for administrative remedies. Okay? So you do it 2 more times just in case if they didn't get the first one. Because there's always a chance that they might screw up and lost the first one. So you give them a chance to reprocess it again. So you send them a second time. But if they do it again, then you just put in return to sender, return to sender, return to sender. You just send it back to them. Don't even bother cracking it. Because you know what? If you send an A for B, and if you have any confidence at all that you know that this is going to work, you don't even need to see anything that it came from them. Because you know in your heart, and you know in your mind, that this is taken care of. So why are you backing on to those?
Yep. There is the rule of offer and acceptance in contract law too. If you send them an AFV document and they don't send it back and they never produce it ever again, they've obviously accepted it for payment. Exactly. So that's all you have to bring up is the fact, well, you didn't protest it, you didn't send it back. Again, this is all in the Bill of Exchange Act. If you read it, just read it, and you'll understand everything in there. So, according to the offer and acceptance, you've accepted my payment. If they ever question you about anything in the document, instead of explaining yourself, you say, excuse me, but is there a deficiency with the document? What is the deficiency? Now you're putting that right back on them to say, what's the deficiency? They're going to go, well, fuck, I don't know. Oh, well, then maybe you should read up on commerce. Bye.
Exactly what Dean said. If they have a dispute or whatever, saying that this is not the security we look for, you ask them then, since as your public servants, or as you are operating in the public domain and you are taking in public funds, you are obligated to listen to what I have to say. And I am asking you, or rather demanding you, as you are subjecting yourself to public authority by taking in public funds, okay, I am demanding that you tell me exactly what is wrong with this security so we can properly administrate and close and settle this case.
There you go.
You know how many times I had to do that? Once. And they told me exactly what I needed. That's how I perfected one of my administrative remedies. They told me exactly what was missing. See, people, as soon as people see this reassessment or another contract or another statement coming from, let's say, CRA, they're going to say, well, shit, I don't know what the fuck's going on, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. They don't even bother to respond to CRA saying, hey, can you tell me exactly what's wrong with this? You never know if they're going to get a response. Maybe you're going to get someone on the other end that knows what the fuck's going on. I don't see them having a problem telling you exactly what's wrong or telling you what types of securities that they accept. Because you know what? All they give a shit about is if they're getting paid at the end of the game, or at the end of the day, sorry.
Getting paid 2 and 3 times. Here's something else I'll throw in real quick just before, if we're going to finish up right away, is back to this RCMP bulletin that we were talking about at the start of the show. I'd just like to point out that nowhere in the document does it say we're wrong.
Exactly.
It just says that we believe we can do this, we believe this, and we believe that. But nowhere in this document doesn't say that we are wrong.
No, not at all. It's just all in the wording, because they say that if you think you believe it, you're crazy. It's the way that they're saying it, making it look like you guys are nuts.
I know I can do this, and if you can show me proof on the contract that states that I can't do this, fuck, I will give you a year to show me that I can't do this. And when you do that, I want you to put that as a bona fide claim in the public record against me.
There you go. It all comes back to the public record.
Shit.
Get them on the public record. Anytime you're even approached by a police officer, say, excuse me, before you even speak to me, I'd like you to know I'm convening a court of public record right now. Everything you say is on the public record.
Yeah, that's when you get your phone that's capable of live streaming. You put that on live TV, so if they do shit to you, you have evidence, you have record on that.
Yeah, because they're trying to privately contract with you, and that's when you take them out of the realm of private contract and into public servant domain. Everything you say is a matter of public record right now. You're a public servant. I'm taking you out of private contract domain.
Or what you could do is you can ask them, are you a public servant or are you a public official? If yes, then you have to listen to me, because I am the public.
Yep.
I am your boss. I tell you what to do. I don't take orders from servants or officials that serves me.
There you go.
Exactly. Now, on that note, guys, on that note, I do have to cut this short. Well, not short. It's been 2 hours. And it never seems like that, but it was. Now, Derek, again, thank you so much. Dean, thank you so much. You both bring a different flavor to the table. You both have your own experiences, and you're both providing great information to the listeners and to so many other people. If you look at the our YouTube on Freethink Radio, you'll see that listeners are uploading your videos like crazy because, like I keep saying, they're starving for this information. Once again, thank you both for coming on this show today. As always, it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to talking to you both again.
Everybody read a book.
Read a book.
Yeah, shut off your TV and read a book.
Read a book.
You know
go shopping.
Yeah.
Reading a book is fundamental. Fun-to-mental.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what I say now.
That's fantastic. Now, just you hear Eric B. in the background. He's on next with Everything Is Okay, and he has a special guest, Guy McPherson, who is a professor emeritus at the University of Arizona. Eric, after I'm out, I'm handing the show over to you, and I'll be listening in. I suggest everybody else listens in. Once again, this has been Lifting the Veil with Carrie Lee. I've had my guests, Dean, Clifford, and Derek Hill on today, who I'm hoping I will definitely have on again, or that somebody will do their own show. And with that, I'm out.